Aspiring Christian presents, Can God's Plan and Free Will Coexist? Question. Can God's plan and free will coexist? Conclusion to video. Yes. This video will touch natural disasters, dreams, our environment, and a personal analogy based on experience to make its points. There are two theological concepts within Christianity which some will say are incompatible with each other. One being that God has a plan, another being that humans have free will. For secular reference arguing about the existence of free will, I highly recommend Stefan Molyneux' videos on this matter. One of them is in the description below. First, I'm going to start off with an argument which shows how these ideas can be mutually compatible. Namely, with enough data, one can make goals and achieve them in spite of the free will of others and being reliant on those individuals to make the choices which you desire them to make. Allow me to argue this with an analogy. I've been working for a 3PL for about 20 months. My responsibilities are to grow a book of business of shippers who have a need for logistical support. This is an extremely competitive role as there's millions who do what I do, and on top of that we have strict sales guidelines. The 3PL I work for is wholly non-asset based, thus I rely on market data, my experience, etc. to provide rates for customers at which I'd be able to move their freight for, and averaging only about 14% profit. I also have to be able to get a carrier to agree to move for me. I can't force them, and in certain markets they have plenty of options to choose from. With all this in mind, I have a goal which I am to hit every month. Profit my company about $18,000. Unfortunately, I do not see the majority of this. I believe that this analogy was adequate to show why, with enough data, one can make goals and achieve them in spite of the free will of others. Now, if God is all-knowing, what ways could he possibly be influencing the course of human events or the course of individual lives? In my opinion, the primary way is through religious texts, and I don't believe that needs elaborated on, but if you wish, I will elaborate in a comment below. Additionally, I believe it is possible that God, or something supernatural, may have an influence within our minds while we dream, and it is fairly well proven that dreams have had an effect on our reality, and that they continue to. Quote, in one study that surveyed general beliefs about dreams, Morwedge and co-author Michael Norton, an assistant professor at Harvard Business School, surveyed 149 students in the United States, India, and South Korea. The researchers asked the students to rate different theories about dreams. Across all three cultures, an overwhelming majority of the students endorsed the theory that dreams reveal hidden truths about themselves and the world, a belief also endorsed by a nationally representative sample of Americans. End quote. End quote. A citation below, citing the American Psychological Association. Continuing on, quote, in other words, said Morwedge, people attribute meaning to dreams when it corresponds with their pre-existing beliefs and desires. This was also the case in another experiment which demonstrated that people who believe in God were likely to consider any dream in which God spoke to them to be meaningful. However, agnostics, considered dreams in which God spoke to be more meaningful when God commanded them to take a pleasant vacation than when God commanded them to engage in self-sacrifice. End quote. That last part is quite telling, isn't it? Now, there are a litany of studies one could find on their environment and the influence of other people in their lives on their behavior and their identity. However, I'd like to quote a Business Insider article as well. Quote, motivational speaker Jim Rohn famously said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This relates to the law of averages, which is the theory that the result of any given situation will be the average of all outcomes. End quote. Now, if God has a plan and purpose for our lives, and I think he has, wouldn't it make sense that his plans and purpose for our lives take into consideration where we are born, who we are born to, the schools which we are most likely to attend, etc.? Perhaps there is some tangible way, which we cannot prove, in which God influences nature, but even if he doesn't, if God exists, then he created natural laws, and put into place the mechanisms by which natural events occur. Nature can often influence the course of human events. Quote, "For example, natural disasters cause us to feel a deep sense of empathy towards the suffering of others. Research on the brain's regions triggered when watching other people who are in trouble suggests a very different interpretation. These events draw our attention because they trigger our deepest sense of compassion. They also help us to be mindful of how we can prepare and react to similar situations which the victims face. Observing a true disaster as it unfolds also stimulates our vicarious coping methods. We wonder what we would do if a wall of water started to come toward us at nearly inescapable speed. It's very likely that thousands of lives are actually saved through vicarious coping. If you've seen news stories in which people survive a hurricane by evacuating in time, should a hurricane threaten your home, you'll be more likely to get out quickly and not wait it out." Again, all citations will be below, but that was from Psychology Today. If you enjoyed this video, I'd recommend going to my channel page. On there, not only can you see my uploads, but I have also begun featuring various apologetic work there, to include Dr. Rabbi Zacharias' Answering the Biggest Objections to Christianity, and that video is brilliant. All these things are to say that individuals do not exist within a vacuum. Yes, there is free will, but there are so many influences on who we are as individuals and who we become that an all-knowing God who had a plan for humanity, and perhaps each of us individually, may be able to have a certain level of intelligence forecast and be able to plan accordingly in order to achieve his larger goals. Thank you for watching. To the believers, God bless. To the non-believers, enjoy the rest of your day. Subscribe for more content. Thank you.